What's up, guys? My name is Richard. Today, I wanted to share the 5 mistakes you could make when the crypto market crashes. And I've made some of these mistakes before. Hopefully, this video would stop you from repeating my mistakes. So the first mistake here is making decisions out of fear. The crypto market is very volatile. If you look at my yield farming portfolio, you can see last year, my portfolio ran all the way up to 157,000. And it dropped to 55,000. Then it ran back up again, almost to 170,000. Now it's sitting at $91,000, $92,000. Or if we look at the broader crypto market, if you're yield farming like I am, a lot of times you're investing in a lot of altcoins. You can see altcoins right now is roughly down 52% from the high. This is the others chart. Basically the crypto market, excluding the top 10 crypto. And you can see why a lot of people were fearful, and this price action could lead to a lot of fear. So a lot of this price action leads to the narrative. A good example of this is Ethereum. When Ethereum was trading near $4,000, not a lot of people were FUDing Ethereum and focusing on the drawbacks. But after it dipped below 2,000, now trading at roughly $1,600. It's very easy to find on X people being bearish on Ethereum. And it's up to you to analyze that and make your decision. But the point here is not to make that decision out of fear. You want to look at data and give you some time to think about stuff before actually making that decision. And if you're in a lot of fear, you're watching a lot of YouTube videos or seeing threads on X, you might be tempted to panic sell. And then when you panic sell and the price recovers, then you would miss out on a lot of the upside, or you would have sold for a loss and not make any profit. And a way to combat that is you want to have a plan in place when things go wrong. When everything is pumping, everyone is happy, right? But you need to have a plan in place when things do drop in price. For example, which assets are you going to invest in, and where are you going to get the cash to invest in it? And if you're yield farming, right, how are you going to fund your expenses or make investment with your yield farming portfolio? These are all an important part of your plan when things go wrong. So that's the first one. And the second mistake is keep refreshing your portfolio every 5 minutes. So I'm guilty of this as well. But if you keep refreshing your portfolio and you see a sharp 20, 30% drop in a day, it's just going to add to the panic and anxiety. It's not going to help anything. And really, it just makes it more likely for you to panic sell. And if you want to keep track of your portfolio, what I like to do is I like to visualize my portfolio dropping by a huge amount, let's say by 90%. It's basically tricking your mind, seeing the worst case scenario, right? A lot of times if you're investing in solid asset, it's not going to drop by 90% overnight. And so when you go to bed and then you wake up, you check your portfolio, you see it's not down by 90%, then you're actually happy that it's not down by 90%, right? So that's a little trick you could use. And again, these are not financial advice. I'm just sharing what has helped me in the past, and hopefully this helps you as well. The third mistake that I have also made is checking out and leave the market for a long time. When you're feeling a lot of pain from the market crash, it's good to take a break. But if you leave for a long time, or if you exit the market entirely, you're not going to have an edge over the people who stay in the market. The best time to stay active is when everyone else leaves, because you have time to do research, build skills and your network. You do stuff like farming airdrop or yield farming. And when easy mode comes back again, these people come back. You're going to be 10 times better than those other people because you actually put the time in and not just quit when things get rough. There are a lot of opportunities still in the bear market, and we are seeing price action like a bear market right now, especially in altcoins, but you can still make a profit doing stuff like yield farming during this whole process. The fourth mistake is you stop accumulating solid assets. So during the last cycle, I sold a lot of my ETH at the $2,000 to $3,000 mark. Then FTX crashed, and I should have been dollar cost averaging during this whole time. And when you guys dollar cost average, a lot of times if you entered up here, for example, at $2,500 or $3,000, the market crashes, you dollar cost average, it's going to bring down your entry. And when you drag down entries on solid assets, when these assets rebound and recover, you're going to be at a profit much easier than if you just bought everything and then just held it entire way down and entire way up. So that's a pretty important part that I should have done more, but I was still doing stuff like airdrop farming, trading NFTs, and basically accumulate crypto in other ways. But really another great way to bring down your cost basis is yield farming. If you look at my current APR, it's pretty elevated because of this high risk play. And if you look at my older videos, I'm averaging roughly 40 to 50% APR right now on my other pools. And these fees are going to really help me lower the cost basis, because when people trade these tokens like ETH and Bonk, Sol ETH, ETH MOG, or Arrow ETH, I'm accumulating more and more of these two tokens. That's why my channel is mostly about yield farming. It's going to help you lower the cost basis and ultimately profit when the prices recover. And lastly, you can't really time the bottom or the top, so stop trying. When prices are cheap and you think it's going to rebound, then it's a good time to dollar cost average. When things kind of overheat, there's a lot of hype, then it's time to sell some of your profits. And the fifth mistake is going all in buying the dip in one token. So just because a token dropped by 60% doesn't mean it's not going to drop another 50 or 90%. A lot of tokens can keep dropping in value and never recover. A great example of this is Polkadot. If we look at the Polkadot weekly chart during the last cycle, I believe it was like a top 10 or top 15 crypto. It reached roughly $53, $54, and you can see now it's trading only at $4. So even though you believe in an asset, you don't want to go all in one token, because if you start dollar cost averaging, let's say here at $21, you could be buying all the way down, right? And if you didn't take any profit on these recovery pumps to $10 here, for example, then you would still be at a net loss. So buying the dip is good if the asset recovers. And really, I don't think anyone can say it with like 100% certainty that a certain altcoin would always recover. So that's why you want to diversify your investments. So that's the 5 mistakes. The number one thing is making decisions out of fear, panic selling. The second one is keep refreshing your portfolio every 5 minutes. You're causing a lot of anxiety for yourself for no reason. The third is checking out the market and not developing the skills or investing time in when everyone else leaves. The fourth is you stop buying into solid assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana when prices are down. And the fifth is going all in buying the dip on this token and not diversifying your investments. And lastly, before we hop off here, I wanted to share you my personal plan. My plan is I'm going to keep dollar cost averaging into stuff like Bitcoin. I already have Ethereum and Solana exposure, so I'm fine with just adding Bitcoin to my portfolio at this stage, mostly from the fees I get from yield farming. And number two, I'm going to keep accumulating assets from yield farming, my crypto to crypto positions. And like I explained, right, as I yield farm, I'm going to be accumulating more crypto. It's going to lower my cost basis and it's going to make it easier for me to profit when prices recover. And lastly, I want to keep diversifying my investments. That's why I'm buying stuff like Bitcoin, because my portfolio is too heavily weighted towards Ethereum. So I hope that helps, guys. There are a lot of opportunities still when the prices are cheap. In my opinion, one of the best opportunity right now is to yield farm with crypto to crypto pools. And there are a lot of videos on my channel about that, so be sure to check that out. Thank you once again for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.